Prophet Isaiah tells us that God repays each in kind. When we bless others, especially those who need spiritual as well as physical and material help, is that Jesus calling? Do you have a special connection here? So when Jesus called a despised tax collector, now you have to understand, tax collectors are looked at just like they are today. They're despised. We don't like them. But back then, the tax collectors would add more money. Your tax might be, let's say, $1,500, and they'd say you owe $1,900. Because they would keep the difference, and that's how they made their living. And tax collectors back then, most of them lived pretty good. The religious leaders at that time were very upset with Jesus' behavior towards public sinners like Levi. The Jewish people were roughly divided in two groups. The Orthodox Jews, who kept very rigidly to the letter of the law. I don't remember, but they had like 613 or so different laws. And they lived very rigidly to them, and they held others to that. Especially, they held everyone else to them. How do you think they did? Not so good. And they scrupulously avoided the companies of the second group of just anyone that was not of them. They refused to do business with them, and they did not intermarry with them. They avoided any form of friendship with them, including even table fellowship. And Jesus' association with the latter, especially with tax collectors and public sinners, shocked the sensibilities of these Orthodox Jews. It just rocked them to their core. They couldn't believe he was doing this. What happened when Jesus was challenged? Well, his defense was real simple. A doctor doesn't need to treat healthy people. Instead, he goes to who? The people that are sick. And Jesus sought those who had the greatest need. And a true physician seeks helping the whole person, the body, the mind, and the spirit. So my question to you men is this the way you are? When you run into someone, are you looking for a way to bless them? The person that hurts you or says something about you that maybe is true or not true, but damages you, how do you treat them? Do you pray for them? Do you pray for them? Oh, you try. That's not going to get you into heaven. It goes against our human thinking, what God says. Whoever hurts you, does wrong to you, what do? You bless them. But God wants us to do even more than that. Who are you supposed to bless? Who are you supposed to bless? Everybody. If you have that attitude, what kind of life will you have? Someone does something stupid. Looking for your name there. Steve, you ever done something stupid? Oh, yeah. Did you hear that? Oh, yeah. Well, people do stupid things. We all have. Would you want someone to know the 3 or 4 worst things that you've ever done in your life and to tell everybody about them? Are you willing to do that? Is there anyone here willing to do that? I'm not raising my hand. But you see, you have to take the attitude that I'm on this earth to bless people. If you have that attitude, you're going to do God's will. If you don't have that attitude, you're not doing God's will because you're going to get trapped in this fleshy, worldly body. I'm here to bless everyone I meet. Everyone. Even the idiots in the world. Because sometimes we're an idiot. And we always want to bless ourselves, don't we? But there's a key that we must learn. How do you change? How do you look at the things that you do wrong, and how do you change doing those? With God's help, what do you do first? Well, that's good. Then what's next? That's pretty good too. He's 2 for 2 anyway. But you have to, if you want to change, then change things in your life. You have to do something different. You can't just say, Lord, change me. You keep doing the same thing. Well, Lord, I pray. How come you're not changing me? God will come alongside of you and change you. And sometimes he will change you because you need changing. But don't depend on that. You have to change something in your life to get different results. You ever look at pornography? If you look at pornography, don't raise your hand. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. You see, man, you shouldn't do that. It's one of those fleshly sins that we get into. What do you have to do? Well, get some program, put it on your computer. Decide you're not going to do it. Put a picture of Jesus on your computer. And put pictures of Jesus around it. Put a prayer up there, Lord. Don't let me do something that's morally wrong. Help me to go to sites that are good. Put a prayer on your computer so you'll pray that. Do something different. You know? A beautiful thing about coming to a conference like this for men is that you need other men. In the word today, it said something about, I can find it, about being with other guys. Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners? He's speaking to you today. Who do you associate with? What kind of people are they? Do you associate with someone that sins? Someone that maybe is an alcoholic or drinks too much? Somebody that's immoral in some way? Someone that cheats people or derides people or talks down to people or criticizes people all the time? Is that your friends? If that's your friends, you need one. Tell them they need to straighten up. Don't come at them. Whatever you want to say to someone, and you want them to change, put it in the form of a question. Like you have friends. I hope you do, Steve. So think of your friend, some guy that's doing something wrong. What would you want to say to him? You need to change it. What would you say? Straighten up? Break his kneecaps. If you want to get someone to change, don't come at them. Come under them. Whatever you want to say, put it in the form of a question. What would you say to one of your friends? What would you want them to correct? Quit cussing so much, man. You say, I really appreciate it, Steve, if you quit cussing so much when I'm here. I believe that's an offense against God. And, I like you as a friend, but I appreciate it if you wouldn't do that while I'm around you or working with you. It really kind of offends me because I know it offends God. Do you think it offends God maybe? It's just a habit, isn't it? It's something you formed in your life. Well, unform it if you will. If you need help, I'll pray for you. You come alongside of them. Some guy that's deriding people or has an anger issue, you come up to him and you say, Chris, you think you get upset too much? You think you're kind of like that? Yeah. What do you think you need to do to maybe change that? See, I'm not coming down. I'm not saying, hey, you got anger. You need to straighten up. Well, sometimes maybe you need to speak that, but I don't think it's a solution. You need to come alongside, put it in the form of a question. Make them think. Say, hey, do you think other people see you as a really kind and generous guy? Do they? What do you think? Oh, he's okay. Just okay. Here's the way you change. You don't really change yourself. But you have to cooperate with what you need to do. And what God wants you to do, be God-like. You see, God is the one that really changes us. When we make up our mind to change and we start doing something different to attack that, we ask God to help us. It's just not saying, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Well, sometimes he'll do that. But most of the time, he's waiting for you to change. And it's a matter of opening up your heart and your mind and your will and your desires and saying, I don't want to be looking at pornography anymore, Lord. Help me. I'm gonna talk to my wife. Or I'm going to put pictures of Jesus on the computer and Mary around the computer. And a prayer there that every time I go down there, I will say a prayer. So I won't do what I need to do. How many of you that look pornography on your home computer, how would your wife feel if she knew you were doing that? You think that would create an issue? I think it would. From the confessional, I know it would. You have an anger problem? What's your problem in your life? You got to work on them, man. They just don't go away. How many of you come to confession and you're telling the same sins that you had 10 or 15 or 20 years ago? And I understand there are some small sins that sometimes you trip and fall, but what are you doing to change that? You have to cooperate with what God says, like in the epistle. Start doing the good. How many of you do charitable works to people? How many of you go down to a mission or help feed someone or help someone when they have a problem? So you ought to be looking for that. I'm here to bless people. Well, some guy in the parish needs a little help on something. Well, I hope someone helps him. Well, I hope he calls Steve. Steve will help him. It doesn't work that way, man. Step up and step into what God's calling you to do. There was a man who was a tax collector. Was hated, really, by the people. Now, who was Levi?
Tax collector.
Anybody know who Levi was?
Tax collector.
He was a tax collector. Now, would you think a tax collector could be a saint? They overcharged everyone. So was Levi really kind of really a bad person? And what did he do the rest of his life? Does anyone know what Levi did the rest of his life? What's another name for Levi?
Matthew.
Matthew. And who was Matthew? He changed. We can all change, man. But you have to do something. You have to change something in your life. And sometimes you need a brother alongside of you. I would encourage all you men to get in groups of like 5 or 6 and meet like once a week or at least every other week. And when you meet, you talk about what's going good in your life and what are you struggling with. It's not so much about work. It's not so much about the news. What are you dealing with and how are you doing? What are you doing to improve your life, to step into what God wants you to do? Then you pray over each other. Get a man walking next to you. You can walk next to him. That's one of the keys. Was there one apostle or were there 12? And they helped each other. You're called to be a brother to your brothers. When one of your group kind of slips off and doesn't come to the meeting for once or twice, are you calling him, encouraging him? That's what you need to do. Everybody needs help sometime in their life. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have or how smart you are. Everyone has almost the same problem somewhere in their life. Some people have a lot more problems because they don't know how to deal with their problems. That's why they need a brother who's on the outside looking to see what's going on. Jesus saw a tax collector named Levi. I just want you to close your eyes. Now, I'm going to say Jesus saw a tax collector named, and when I say that name, you say your name out loud. Keep your eyes closed. Jesus saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the custom post. He said, "Follow me." Jesus is speaking to you right now. He's asking you to follow him. Not giving him lip service, but to give everything. Make it a point in your life that in your prayer every morning, you're here to bless people. My job today is to bless everyone I meet. Let me say a prayer for you. Father in heaven, This conference, we thank you for it. We thank you for all those who are giving talks and those who are serving us. Help us to change, Lord. Help me to change. Help me to change things in my life, using my family, my wife, all my brothers, my friends, and help me to help them. Lord, help me to open up my heart, my mind, my wants, and my desires. I just want you to see you as you sit there. Keep your eyes closed. And just see your ribs. Open up your ribs and expose your heart to God. And just see yourself, open up your heart, and see Jesus right before you because he is here. And in your heart and in your mind, just invite him to come in. You can say, Lord, I try, but I fall way short. I am determined, Lord, to change my life for the better. But I can only do that with your help. Help me to see the things I need to change. Grant me the grace to know how to change them. And if I seek my brother or my sister to help me, reveal to me who I need. Lord, it's by your grace, your beautiful grace and your love, that will change my heart. Just see Jesus' heart before you as it's beating in his heart. It's a beautiful red and golden and rays are coming out behind it. And in your mind, just ask the Lord to let his heart come and touch your heart. And then fill it with all the goodness of who he is. Lord Jesus, come. Let your heart touch my heart. Bless me with the things that I need, if you will. Help me to be a better man, a better disciple, a better husband or brother, or a father, or grandfather, or son. Help me to be the one you created me to be. Fill me, Lord, with your love, your goodness, your joy, your generosity, and all the things that are you. Change my heart, oh God. Change my heart.